Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV. Today, guys, we're going to review a 2011 album. We're really excited about this one. Well, not really, but mostly because of the album cover. This is the new album from Toro y Moi, called Underneath the Pine. I like the album title, and as I just said, the album cover scared the crap out of me. And
it's kind of creepy.
It's creepy. It's this, well, you'll see it if you go to www.velocitiesmusic.com. We post the album artwork there underneath our video, and it's a guy's face, it's a mustache, it's not a good-looking man if you ask me. I mean, there could be some other things there that would make this a much more intriguing album cover, but other than that, I'm just a little creeped out, and that predisposes me to how I'm going to listen to this album. But overall, I really liked Underneath the Pine. I felt like that this had a lot of really good styles in it. Like the first thing that comes to mind is an obvious funk and fusion elements, but it's very... it's in that, I know that Toro y Moi's first album had a lot of comparisons to Chillwave or Glo-Fi and other memory tapes even got compared to memory tapes. And I see comparisons on Underneath the Pine to that sort of sound, but this to me is much more danceable. It's much more funk and just kind of a groove, and it's very thick sounding. Now, I'll get more into that in a minute, but I kind of want to let Tom just kind of spin this for a bit on his opinions about it. So Tito, where you at?
I had an interesting experience listening to this album because at first I didn't really like it. It didn't really grab me.
Right.
But as I listened to it more, I realized that what it was that I actually really enjoy the music on here. It's just that the relatability factor isn't very high for me. I mean, not that I have to relate to every little thing I'm listening to, but
absolutely not.
But nothing. I didn't find anything very gripping about it. Nothing about it made me go, "Oh man, I really want to listen to this some more." It's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know what just fell from the ceiling there. But anyways, I mean, still though, the more I listened to it, the more I liked it, and the more I realized that, yeah, I do dig the tracks on here. I love the style. The bass is incredible.
It is.
So grooving, just fat bass lines. I wish that there was more of that in music today. But I think the one thing holding this album back for me, while I still really did enjoy it, is just the fact that it doesn't do a lot to really pull me in and make me care. Now, maybe it does for you, but for me, there was something in between me and the music there that made it hard for me to really, really get into on a level above just appreciating the sound and having fun listening to it.
Absolutely, Tom. I completely agree with you. And that's going to be ultimately what keeps me, and it sounds like you too, not you too, but you also, from having just an adoration for this album, because otherwise everything else is there. It's just that likability factor, that comeback quality that you get out of so many bands. I just don't feel like that Underneath the Pine is really about anything. And I get the same thing when I listen to it, and I know that the styles are totally different, so that aside, just the concept behind it. But like when I listen to field music, which I love field music, and the New Pornographers even, you know, it's just, here's these just great songwriting, great songs and music, and everything about it's there. It's just I don't connect with it at all. It's music to make, it's good, making good music just to make good music, and that's awesome. That really is awesome. It's definitely better than making bad music when you're trying to make good music. I mean, clearly that's stupid, but but this is good music that I just have a hard time relating to. Now, I'll tell you what I did like about it. The songwriting here is fantastic, and there's a lot of really good instrumentation too. There's keys, guitars, bass, but really what got me and what knocked it out of the park for me is the production. This is the thickest, most focused sounding album I've heard in a long time, and I loved it. And I'm going to come back to this album just for this factor. When I got to track 10, Good Hold, and that panning, you know, James Blake's album did that to me too. But this, I mean, I literally just, it gets me every time, and I mean, I'm listening to this and I'm just like, ah. And
it messes with your head. And it makes you think you're going deaf in one ear. And it's a cool effect.
That enhances the album. I love when artists can do cool production tricks like that enhances the album. We have all the technology that we do at our disposal. Why aren't we doing more stuff like that? I love seeing artists embrace it and still being able to present a sound that was present in the 60s and 70s with lots of that dance and disco influence. Now, I don't know who you would compare Toro y Moi to. A lot of people have tried to compare it to memory tapes, but I feel like memory tapes is much more electronica and dance oriented.
This is a little more real.
Yeah, I mean, Mew is the closest closest thing that came to mind, but it doesn't have the same stylistic influences. But overall, I just felt like the songwriting and the production was so strong that you just have to like this album, the instrumentation as well. I'm feeling, Tom, like a strong 79. It's not quite in that 80s or upper 80s range, just from the fact that I just don't feel like this is about anything. It's just it's good music to be good music, and that's good.
And for the same reason, I'm going to go 73. A little lower than you. I still like this, but I didn't love it, and the biggest thing for me was exactly that. It just doesn't seem to be, I mean, like you said, well, you already nailed it. I'm not even going to try.
So, one more thing I do want to add, and I know that you agree with me here, because we've talked about this before, but the last track, Elise, is just fantastic and a great way to close it. And the combination of good hold and then Elise right at the end really just hits it out of the park for me. I love it when albums can finish as strong as Underneath the Pine does. So I feel like I may be even underrating this a little bit. Time will tell, and maybe in the future, if you guys leave comments and stuff, maybe I'll tell you that I end up coming back to it and listening and liking it more, and Tom will too. But what did you guys think? Go to www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. I want to know your opinion on Underneath the Pine. I've also never heard any other, or Toro y Moi's first album. I'd be interested to see what you guys thought of that. I don't know, did you like the song? Did you find it, the sound of this album, did you find it more accessible, easier to relate to than maybe what we're leading on? I'm really interested to get in our conversation going about this, because that's what me and Tom are all about. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, moving music critique forward.